Hey, yo, it's me, Pops Van Marmalade, and you're watching the Comics-Related Madness Network. Uh-huh. So come get some. CromCon. CromCon.
Your favorite podcast, it's Critical Blast.
Hi, this is Tim TK, host of That Silverline Show on Tuesday. Join us at 11 p.m. Eastern, 8 p.m. Pacific every Tuesday night as we discuss pop culture and the joys of making comics.
Hi, I'm Dean Zachary, host of Silverline's Wednesday Wham, where we go beyond politics, beyond calculation, and beyond the big two. Join us each and every Wednesday. Don't miss out.
Hi, I'm Roland Mann, and I host Silverline's Silver Sunday. Join me every Sunday at 8 p.m. Eastern as we make mine Silverline.
So, hello everyone, and welcome to Silverline Live this Wednesday night. We had a few bugs to get us started, and I'll make sure I point them all out so that the responsible parties will know. But so welcome tonight.
People
as
will be sacked.
That's right. Fingers will be pointed, right? So welcome tonight as we are new Silverline Live tonight. And tonight we're going to have our craft. John, you messed me all up. You said once again this time with gusto or whatever you said, right? So we are back to our craft tonight, and tonight we're going to be talking to some of our amazing colorists as we talk about flatting, which is the first step of comic coloring. And so we've got several different ones here. So you're going to see several different approaches to that. There's not one that's right. There's not one that's wrong. It's you do whatever. This is one of the things I've always loved about comics. Whatever you do to make it work is all good. And that drives some where I teach at Full Sail University, screenwriters, that kind of drives them crazy sometimes because they like everything just so it must be this way. And comics are we have some conventions and some standards, but it's very flexible. So we'll get to that kind of, I would say, at the bottom of the hour, but since we're a little bit late getting started, 30 minutes from now, something like that.
There you go.
Whoops. And I left my email on and it just got a really loud announcement. So I'm going to shut it off real quick. So I am Roland Mann. I am the writer of Cat and Mouse, and I am kind of the wrangler for tonight. So I'm just going to do kind of like I always do and go around the murderer's row here as it is on my screen. It might not be the same on your screen, and I apologize for that. But first up is Barb.
Hi, I'm Barb Kjellberg. I am the inker for Cat and Mouse, the creator, co-writer, and inker for the upcoming Divinity book, which will be launching in May, and the colorist on Sirens, and the CFO for Silverline.
Woot. Next up on Murderer's Row is Kurtis Fujita.
Hello, I'm Kurtis Fujita. Working
Digging that background, dude.
Thank you. I did that all by myself. Comic books for a while, originally with Roland back in the Malibu Comics Day on the Ultraverse line. I've been coloring and concept design also in video games. Currently, I'm the creative director at Silverline and also the editor on Kate.
Sweet. And next up on Murderer's Row here is Jeremy Kahn. Jeremy, say hi to everybody.
Hi, everybody. I'm on the colorist on the Bloodline, and I've been working with Roland Mann for a good number of years. Before this, I was working on the Project Cray, and tonight I'll be providing a couple pages for you to see.
Sweet. And a first-time appearance on Silverline Live, but not the last time, is amazing colorist and artist Becca Winslow. Becca, say hi to everybody.
Hi, guys. I'm Becca. I'm new to the business. I just graduated the Kubert School a couple months ago. I just finished coloring for Rush, and I'm working on, am I saying this right? Marauder.
Yeah.
That's
like
fun.
a band of marauders.
It's a fun comic color.
Yeah. And I can safely say this for those of you who are watching, even if you're watching live or on the tape delays, whatever we call those now. Becca's going to be making some noise. What's that?
On demand.
On demand. That's right. Becca's going to be making some noise, so keep your eyes posted for her. She's going to rock the world here. And next up on my Murderer's Row is COVID Tim.
Hi guys, I am Tim TK, the associate editor at Silverline, and tonight's stream bungler. I had to switch everything over from my setup to the new one, and that was not fun. But I am working on 2 so far unannounced books with Silverline, and I help run the website and currently manage the craft blog series.
Yep. Yeah. So so Tim said he was the bungler. Okay. But now here's the deal. Bret, as you know, those of you who watch regularly, Bret usually runs this, and we gave all the passwords and all that kind of stuff to Tim, and he was still working, still got a full-time job. And I got an email from him the other day saying, okay, I'll get off at 4. That should give me enough time to figure it all out. And of course, I had computer issues, and I sat down just before we started this stream, and I got this long Facebook message from, I can't do this, I can't do this, I can't do this, I can't do this. And I'm like, well, that's okay. We'll figure it all out. So we love Tim, and he's no bungler, but we'll get it all worked out as Tim is going to be doing some more of this, taking on some more of the I don't know what the official title would be. I guess
Producer?
tech streamer. Dude, producer.
Producer. Yeah, that's
good. I like that. Yeah, that sounds good.
So you got a promotion.
There you go.
Right. Is that like a what's the Battlefield?
A field promotion.
Yeah, what those are the brevet, right?
Field commission or whatever.
Yeah. Isn't it right?
It's like brevet Sharp,
no?
the Sharp series.
Whatever. Yeah. Anyway, yeah, you get it on the field.
Capture the eagle, you get to be
a promotion.
Officer,
yeah.
All right, next up is Thomas Florimonti.
Hello, everybody. Well, like you said, my name is Thomas Florimonti. I am the inker of an upcoming project that we're jamming on called Trumps. I've been in the comic business for a long time, and I've pretty much done everything. And so I'm not really coloring anything for Silverline at the moment, but I do have a lot of coloring background, so I'm going to throw my 2 cents in and show you some stuff in Clip Studio and Photoshop or whatever you guys want me to talk about.
You are coloring something Silverline related tonight, right?
Oh, I've got something to pull up. I don't know if it's you'll see. It's a surprise.
Okay, all right. So you've been real mysterious about this whole thing for the last 3 days. So
yeah, well, you'll.
All right. Next up is Sid Williams. Sid, say hi to everybody.
Hello, everybody. Glad to be here tonight. I love these gatherings because you sit in your box all day, and it's good to get these little digital hangouts going.
And when you go out, you're always looking like this, right? So it's like you look like bandits.
Yeah, exactly.
So, Sid, tell everybody what you do.
Well, I am a writer, and I wrote a lot of the projects that we've been talking about. I don't know which direction people are from me, but I wrote, probably most importantly, because it's upcoming soon, Friar Rush, and scripted that. And I also scripted and wrote the short story that Bloodline is based on. And Marauder is one of mine. So. Yep. A lot of the things being discussed and colored tonight, I think, started in my imagination, which is kind of cool.
I think you're right.
Don't forget Sirens.
Sirens. Right. Oh, sorry, Barb. Yeah, Barb. So
right.
So all that.
It's almost Sid night tonight, right?
Yeah. Yeah. It's kind of fun. It's always fun.
I should be able to put you right in the middle if I could.
Yeah, that would be great, everyone. No, it's always great when the the artwork starts coming in, like the initial character sketches and everything, and you see the things that were just your imagination, and they're starting to be realized. And then it's really cool when they start to get colored, like what we're seeing happen here.
Yeah. And it's so tough as a writer, isn't it? When you start getting those first images, you want to just blast it out to the world, but you realize I can't do this too soon because we've still got a couple of months of actual production before this thing gets ready. And as we know, consumers have a very short attention span. And this is not a negative thing. It's just they have a very short attention span. So if we start getting them excited too early, by the time it actually gets here, they've moved on to something else. So
or you promote it and then there's a pandemic or something.
That would never happen.
That never, that
shops
never used
would
to
never
be,
close for months on end.
That never used to be anybody's thing. It's like, well, I don't know. This happens, and then there's a pandemic.
Right. That was all fiction, right?
Yeah.
Please, nobody start talking about zombie apocalypses now.
Well, it would work. You could shoot a zombie.
That's right.
Gee, not much you can do
All
about
right. So next up on Murderer's Row here is Alex Gallimore. Alex, you going to say hi to the people? Excellent.
Hello, everyone. I'm the penciler for Cat and Mouse currently, and I'm going to be working on a couple new titles as we get this book finished.
Sweet. Alex can't draw fast enough. He's already saying, okay, what's next? What's next? What's next? And I'm like, dude, so cool. Next up on Murderer's Row here is John Medic.
Evening, everybody. Greetings and salutations. I'm using the phone because my microphones always seem to echo. Is it clear, Roland, or are you laughing?
No, it's good. No, it's funny because you're holding your phone up, to speak.
I could look like this. I'm glad it's not a rotary, with the line. I can look like I'm more 1980s than I am. I'll just go with this. My name's John Medic. I am the writer and creator of Sniper and Rook. I am a proud editor at Silverline, self-anointed #1 Silverline fan since the early 1990s. Also have been known to do editing, lettering, pre-press, and everything but art and coloring. However, I am the one that is causing Tommy the problems tonight with all the secrecy, and I can't wait to see how that turns out. It'll be very cool.
Sorry, Bret just came in here and said, I'm here. I'm like, okay, we got it. So
we don't need
I
it
actually
now.
might know the problem. He actually told me what might be the problem, but we'll figure that out later. Next up, we have a second-time appearance by the talented Thomas Hedgeland. Thomas, you want to say hi to everybody, or you just want to give us a thumbs up, or you want me thumbs up? Okay. So, Tom, I'll give the brief little intro. So, Thomas is another one of our Rockstar cubies here. And he is drawing the book that Floramonte mentioned earlier, a book called Trumps. And we have to be very careful to say the S on the end because Trumps. It is Trumps, as in like a deck of playing cards. When you play cards, you trump somebody. So, and the series, more about that as we get a little bit closer. But yes, it is loosely based on playing card games. So, lest anyone start thinking some weirdness. And behind the scenes, I don't know if she'll open up her mic or not, but running our 3 different chats on YouTube, on Twitch, and on Facebook is my lovely bride of almost 30 years, BJ Man.
I know, 30. Hi, everybody. 30 years is right around the corner.
It is. And, I'm not sure whether I like that we're in quarantine because that means the pressure's off to have to plan a 30-year,
Oh, no, little mister.
That just
I'm
means.
like, sorry, sweetie, we're in quarantine.
It just means that now you have the logistical challenge of having it delivered all to your house on time.
I'm not sure how I can bring the beach to the house.
Hey, be creative.
Maybe some candles.
As long as Amazon's still out there, you're not off the hook.
Yeah, so yep,
It's
not
getting
quite.
to where when grocery delivery is coming, it's like waiting for Santa. Have you found that?
Yes, 100%.
So how you guys? I'm not trying to be personal here, but how you guys doing on toilet paper?
I have a bidet, so that's not a problem.
A man of culture. A man of culture.
And the images that conjures.
I think we're down to about 10 rolls, and we haven't been able to find any. So
we hit Costco right before all this hit, so of course that.
Yeah.
I bought a reasonable amount right before all this hit. But fortunately, the other day, and we actually were still a little ahead because there's just 2 of us here, my wife and I. But Christine just happened to look at Amazon, and there was like 7th generation, a name brand toilet paper available, or bath tissue, as they say. And so I mean, well, click now, order. And so she did. And it was quirky for a minute, but then it let her order. And so we got this big box of several packages, and they put it on the doorstep. They didn't even knock. And so there's this big box on the doorstep saying bath tissue. I'm going to get that in quick. We don't have the porch pirates much, but that...
We've been ordering all of our grocery stuff through Instacart, and every time we order, we've been able to get it in. So we're in Orlando with the same with you, Roland, but we hadn't had a problem getting it. So I mean, I haven't gone to the store to look for it, but every time we order it, it's pretty much we got some today. You guys didn't really need to know that I've got toilet paper today, but yeah, we got some.
Well, now everybody that's watching, though.
Yeah.
And Thomas
use
is
the bathroom occasionally. Yeah.
That address is. Well, I will say, I saw on TV there's like one toilet paper plant at least in Florida. So it's probably like Great Northern too.
Yeah. Well, I saw a little news thing on it, and we don't have a shortage of toilet paper. There is no shortage of toilet paper here. The problem is we can't get it to the shops fast enough, and it doesn't stay on the shelves long enough.
Mm-hmm.
Sells out.
No, it doesn't.
Yeah, it sells out, and the trucks can't get there.
Supply chain. It's a supply chain problem because nobody anticipated. It's not rigged for.
Yeah. And of course, gas is cheaper than it's ever been, and we can't go anywhere.
Yeah. Here in Madison, we actually found it at 89 cents a gallon.
Wow. Yeah, it's the cheapest. My dad sent me a picture up near him. He's in Arkansas, 99 cents a gallon.
Just grab a barrels, filled up, and then you'll hoard it.
Yeah. It just, I mean, if I had a great big tank, I would go buy, I would fill it up and use it for later. But
it might be worth buying a big tank to fill it up to use it for later.
At 99 cents or 89 cents, yeah, absolutely. But I would have to pull it up in my backyard, and I'm not sure my neighbors would like that.
What are those, like 1970 prices?
Yeah, just do what I do. Fill up your massive SUV, and then using your shaded past, siphon it into your smaller daily travel car at the end of that.
Yeah, I haven't seen these prices since I was in high school in the 70s, and there I've dated myself.
The cheapest I remember seeing it was 49 cents a gallon, and this would have been 1980, around middle 80s, and this was in McGee, Mississippi. And it was kind of the midway point for me going back and forth to college. It was the news said at the time it was the cheapest in the nation, because I think nationwide it was closer to $1 at the time, but 49 cents a gallon. I remember I tried to be empty every time I was in McGee, Mississippi, to fill up.
I can remember, sometime in the 70s there were gas shortages. You guys remember?
Yeah.
Those of you that were alive remember. And I can remember Johnny Carson doing a joke that he goes, "All right, there's a gas shortage, but if gas goes to $1 a gallon, the gas companies will find gas."
Yeah.
I mean, $1 a gallon was like, a big deal at that point.
Yeah. We know Johnny Carson also is the one who was partially responsible for the last toilet paper shortage.
Johnny Carson?
I was not aware of this until someone posted recently, but apparently in 1973, some local politician was making a joke about a toilet paper shortage. Johnny Carson picked it up, ran that joke on the Tonight Show, and of course everyone panicked, thinking that Johnny Carson was being serious. There was legitimately a toilet paper shortage, so they ran out and bought up all the toilet paper. A few days later, a week later, or something like this, Johnny Carson came back on the Tonight Show and apologized. He said, there is not a toilet paper shortage. I am sorry that I had any part in this at all. Please stop buying up and hoarding toilet paper.
Perfect.
So this isn't the first time we've seen a toilet paper shortage.
I know we talked about it, I think every time so far, but I'm still on the same tank of gas that I put in my car a month and a half ago. And luckily the other day I went into the other car, which is still totally full. And I've been trying to crank it every, couple of days, but and drive it around in a circle. But yeah, the one car is totally full from 2 months ago. And then the other car is just now on a half a tank.
Yeah, the commute to my office is all about 2 miles round trip, so it's been
Yeah, the only time we leave the house is to run and pick up our groceries once a week, and that's like 10 blocks away. So we're never going to use up our gas at this rate.
Yeah. But with it being 89 cents a gallon, or well, it's not that here. I think we paid $1.
I think it was $1.70.
I think something like that. I think we paid $1.60 is the lowest we paid for it. But
yeah,
it makes you want to go. It makes you want to go buy gas.
Just to pour it out on the ground, that kind of thing.
Well, maybe not quite that bad, but
Oh, okay.
Want to go buy some of those 5-gallon jugs, right, and fill them up, and put them in your garage. Of course, if you did that, then the government would be on you. Why are you buying 5-gallon jugs and putting them in your garage?
Well, if it was yesterday, if we would have bought what is it, the thing of oil, the big barrel of oil, wasn't it like a negative thing? So if you would have bought yesterday, then you could have sold it today for like $20.
Yeah.
If you sold your stock, so because it went up today, isn't that crazy?
Yeah. Yeah, I think I heard on the radio that they were paying people to store the gas.
Yes.
It's crazy.
Or the oil anyway too, right?
Yeah. Yeah, whatever it is.
I don't know how they
extract
gas
out of the
it's
ground.
Magic.
Yeah.
It's magic. We don't know.
BJ, you said that we had a question from somebody.
Yes, from Facebook. The question is, does Silverline take creator-owned submissions or penciler submissions?
Absolutely. So Silverline is all creator-owned. We absolutely love the Image model, and what Image does is they don't own anything. Image is the publisher. We like to think of ourselves still as a family, but it's all creator-owned. The creators who create this stuff, they own it lock, stock, and barrel. Silverline does not own any of it. And as far as submissions, 100% absolutely yes. One of the things that me personally, one of the things that I like to do, and if you'd asked me this 25 years ago, I would have said, oh, no, I don't want to do that. That's no. One of the things that I have found that I enjoy, and it may have just become over time as an editor, is I actually do enjoy putting teams together. I like trying to find a good story and then a penciler that will go with that, and an inker that can work well and look good on the penciler. I like doing that. I enjoy it.
We are facilitators.
Yes, facilitators.
Oh, good word.
And so I enjoy that very much. And so, yes, if you are a penciler and you want to work with some cool folks like Silverline, just drop me a line, reach out on any of the platforms. Facebook is probably the best one. and we will figure out how you can get some samples to us, whether that's just sending us files or sending us to a website, something like that. But yeah, absolutely. Please feel free to send whatever you want to send. We have guidelines, and once you reach out, I'll make sure I'll send you the guidelines so that if your work falls outside of that, then you'll know, this is not something that for Silverline. Those guidelines are on the website, so you can go to the website and see that as well if you don't want to swap messages with me. But absolutely. So, all right, so we're going to get right into the craft here. And as mentioned at the top of the hour, which wasn't quite the top of the hour tonight, we're talking about coloring. Flatting is generally the first step in coloring a page. But what we want to do is we want to talk to let's see, we got 1, 2, 3, 4. We got 4 different colorists here, and each of them have a slightly different method in which they approach the page. And so that's what we want to talk about at first. So we're just going to start with Jeremy. Jeremy, when you get a page of artwork, black and white artwork, it's inked and it's ready to go, what's the first thing you do? How do you separate that art so that you're not coloring over the black lines?
Well, what I've done is I mostly work in Photoshop for coloring, and I basically created a set of actions that separate the line work from the background color. Honestly, I basically based it off the hi-fi coloring action script that they provide with their hi-fi coloring books. But the main way it works is you basically select the entire page on a single layer. So basically, you have the layer flattened. You then do Control A, select it all.
Now I'm not seeing anything. Are you sharing? Are you sharing this now?
I am trying to get it up as I'm talking.
Okay. I was like, I'm looking for it, but I'm not seeing anything.
Is it working now, or
there you go? I see something.
Okay. So let me try this again. Yeah. So basically, what I do is, like I said, I have a set of actions right here, the grayscale one. I create some other ones too for other situations, but the way the action works is, I first select the whole page, I copy it. I go to the channel layer, create a new channel, paste it to the new channel here. Oh, it's best also to work within the grayscale when you're doing this. So once you have the page pasted to the new channel you created, the alpha channel, you then select this icon right down here is the one, the circle, the dot circle. That then selects the I think it's the negative space, or the basically the space where there's nothing in it. You go back to the main channel, create a new layer, then inverse the selection. That then selects everything that's not white. Once that's selected, you then go ahead and fill in the page. What this does then is puts everything into the line art into its own layer. Then also what I like to do also is when I'm setting up the page to color in, instead of working on a plain white background, I try to put some color, a little bit of color into it. Okay. This makes it a little easier to spot the colors when you're flattening the page. It's on white, it doesn't stand out as much. It also helps you sort of set the mood for the page ahead of time by selecting the type of color you want to go for at the end. And another way to go about it also is to just select the panel to actually, like if I want the panels to be different, I'm getting some lag on my side here.
Yeah, I was going to say, we're getting a little bit of lag, not bad.
No. Like let's say I want the first two panels, these would be the blue sky, let's say. So I'll basically color in, use that as the background for that. Then I'll select the next background. Here I want to make this a little more intense since due to the image. So I'll make it like a red, for example. And here is mostly just the face. So I'll do a skin tone for that. That basically sets up the entire page based on how I want the main colors to go with the complement.
Okay, cool. And you're using Photoshop for all this, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Then the other important thing is on the line art layer, instead of locking it, you want to use the transparency lock. What that does is that helps me do the color holds. It's like once that transparency lock is on, what you can do is if you go through with the colors now, it'll color everything that's black, let's say.
Oh.
So that helps you do the color holds then.
Sweet. I am a big fan of color holds. I don't know. They weren't this easy back around Photoshop 2. This was when I was still at Malibu, I would often circle things on the pages and send to the coloring department and say, color hold, color hold, color hold. I love it when the energy from, like a robot character or, superheroes shoot out a blast. I love it when the energy like that is color held, or ghost images and stuff like that. I'm a big fan of color holds. And then it's cool to see that it's actually pretty easy there.
Oh, yeah. I usually try to leave the color holds till I'm done the page.
Sure. Yeah.
And then also, let's say with the dialogue balloons, for example. Another easy way to do that is you just select the lettering. Then from there, switch to the magic wand, and then from there you just select inside. And you basically select everything within that line art. And then once you have that, you want to go ahead and expand the selection, because if I go in close enough, you'll see it doesn't select. Again, close. I'll show you. Like you see here, for example, there's a little spot that isn't colored. So if I were to color in now, layer, you'll see it doesn't color in everything. It's some little spots get close to the line art doesn't get colored. So the best way around that is to go ahead and expand it. That then lets you color in more of the work. So now you'll see it's colored in there.
Cool. All right, Becca, how about you?
Me?
Me, not me next. Yeah. So when you get a black and white page, what do you do? What's the first thing you do?
Well, I use two different programs because I start off with Clip Studio to separate the line work. Hold on.
You may get a warning when you start to share your screen. It may say you can't share your screen while somebody else's. Just boot them.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I was wondering.
Yeah, just boot
I was
them.
like, can I my screen?
For some reason, I can't figure out, and I have all the settings the way they tell me to do it, but I can't figure out how to have two people share at the same time. So I'm seeing you, but I'm not seeing your screen.
Yeah, it won't let me share it yet.
I stopped sharing, right?
Yeah, you're good.
Yeah, you stopped sharing.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, let me try again.
I hear you beating on it.
You think?
That always
punch
helps.
your
Hit it
iPad.
harder.
It'll.
Yeah, hit it harder.
Oh no, it's happening. Okay.
There
it is.
Okay, cool. All right, so I will normally bring up the file into Clip Studios, and then I will click on this little guy right here and go to use brightness image, and it just takes away
Boom.
everything.
And then there it is.
Really?
That's
Yep.
it. Yeah.
And then I usually select it, copy, and then I will wait for that to copy. And then there we go. Here, I'll just start a new one. And then bring up a file and just hit paste.
So you're in Procreate now. Yeah.
Now I'm in Procreate, and it will just paste the image right there for you.
And
So
it's
now-
still got the transparent background in it. Yeah.
Yep. As
Okay.
you can see, yeah. So normally when I color, I will lower the opacity, and then I usually start off with like blocking out whatever color it is. Unfortunately, with Procreate, you can't just like select and automatically fill. So I
There's no
usually
paint bucket thing, huh?
no, or there is, and I just haven't figured it out yet. Cause
Well, talk to me afterwards. I'll tell you how to do it.
Oh my God, really?
Yeah.
You're my new best friend.
All you do is you grab the circle and then just drag it over into the space, and it just fills.
Okay, so undo that,
Wait,
Becca, and let's figure this out. Okay, undo that, and then go back and do what he said.
So do I?
All right.
Put your
pen
pen on.
Click,
yeah.
click on the little pink circle. No, you don't. Well, yeah, if you want to
don't have
select
to do
your
that?
area.
And drag and drop it.
Yeah, just drop it in there. You owe me $5.
I will Venmo you right now. That is amazing.
Thomas
So-
at Inferno Studios, PayPal.
So Becca, this is what I have to ask then. And of course, this is my natural my natural way of thinking, why didn't Qbert teach you this? Did they not teach you this software, or
They didn't teach us this software.
Okay.
So I used all the Adobe files in
I
school.
gotcha.
So I learned that way, but unfortunately my tablet broke for my laptop, and then once I graduated, I lost all, because I had all the programs through school. So my two amazing cousins, as a birthday and graduation gift, bought me an iPad.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah. But do you want me to keep color?
Alex is giving us a thumbs up here.
Yes,
Yeah.
he's been wanting me to get a iPad for so long. Yes.
Yeah, he's tapping on his thumbs up there for those who can't see off the screen here.
Do you want me to keep going, or?
Let's stop you there for a second, and so just pause right there, and then we'll come back to where you are. So
stop broadcast. Did I do it?
There you go.
Okay. All right. Barb, what about you?
All right. I'm going to share my screen here.
Oh, I'm back.
It's okay. It should be if it was working the way we think it is. Yeah, she'll just boot you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
All right, Barb. So what software are you using?
Oh, I'm not screen sharing at the moment. Hang on.
I'm
Why am I
seeing
not screen-
something. You are sharing screen, is what I see.
There we go. Can you? All right.
There
can
you
see
go. Now go into
There
your
we
app.
go.
Yeah.
All right. So I use Procreate. And the reason I use Procreate is because I came into this really, really late. I've been inking for 30 years, but I just learned coloring about 5 months ago. And the way that I separate my lines is Procreate will not separate your lines for you.
Okay.
So I use a free program called Metabang. And I import from another app. I go to, oh, great. All right. Yeah, I import it here from, it's not going to let me.
Oh, no.
I import from Dropbox, and it automatically separates the line art out. Yeah. And then I draw that into Procreate, and I'm all set. Now, the first thing that I want to do when I get my line art here is
I hear the tap.
I'm going to choose a mood when I start a page. So, for instance, if you see the last page I did here, I wanted a whole mood for this page, and it's all in reds and greens. So when you look at a page, you want to look at what's happening on the page. You want to set a mood. And I choose my colors based on what's happening on the page. And once I do that, I put in my backgrounds. Here you'll see I've got my backgrounds. My background color, I'm going to choose a slightly off color for the entire background, because it helps you to read your colors more accurately if you take away the white background. And then I take a look at the color scheme, and I make each panel a separate and different color, because that helps to delineate each and every panel as a separate panel in its own right. And then I try to set my color schemes. I have a color palette. And if skin color is a really, really, really hard topic for me to, thing for me to try to figure out. So I've got in my gallery here, I have color references in my gallery. And say this little gal that I'm going to color right now is a wonderful light skin Creole color. I'll choose a color here. And I will choose a color. And see, all you have to do is touch the screen in Procreate, and you have automatically chosen a color palette. And then I will go
That's
back
your
into
color picker. Your
my color picker.
Yeah.
Yep. And then I'll go back in here. And what have I got here? I've got my paint. Where's my painting? There we go. My flatting brush. And then I can start flatting in her face with the color that I just chose. You see? Whoops, I overdid it. Now, I don't like the lasso tool. I actually have an easier time just coloring, and I like it. I like coloring. I find that the lasso tool takes me actually more time than it would do just to go like this. Say, here, just to take a section here, drop it like that. See how that goes? And I'm nervous, so my hands shake a little bit. See how that goes? It goes pretty fast. What? So another thing I like about doing it this way is sometimes when you use the lasso tool, you get a bit of an anti-aliasing effect where the lines don't match up very well. You've got a digitizing, where in this way, if you do it like this, you don't have to worry about that. There you go. So now I start to flat out, and I've set a palettes, the skin tones, clothing for this particular page. And again, it's all about mood. If you want to, if you're not sure how you want to set your page out, you can do a rough. Here's my rough. There's my rough. I just laid some colors out just to get a general color scheme. So I know where I'm going with this page. I just scribbled it in real quick. And this helps me figure out where I'm going with this particular page, what the mood is, what the color schemes are, and how I want it to look when I am done. Okay. Does anybody else want to take over now? Hello?
You're
Anybody
muted,
there?
Roland.
I am muting. I'm muted. I was just sitting here talking away. So, Tommy, do you have something, or are you just hanging out with
Well,
us?
I got. I'm hanging out a little bit, but let me try to connect here. Okay, so this
You're
is
in
I was
Gotha?
inking something. Gotha, Florida. Yep, this part of Orlando. But
Hey, I know that page. Oh, you know what I forgot to do, Tommy? While you're getting that stuff, I forgot to let's talk about where these projects are coming from. So we started off with Jeremy. Jeremy, you were coloring a page from what?
Issue 4 of Cray.
Issue 4 of Cray. Excellent. So Cray was one of our Silverline classics. It was printed and published in black and white, and we are working to get it colored. And as you hear, issue 4, we're very close to having that finished. And then we'll make it available as a trade. Becca, you were coloring what?
I was coloring for a Rush, a cover.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Yep. So so Fry Rush, which is going to be Kickstarter next. Okay. And then Barb, you were coloring from
page 13 of Sirens, which is actually an old book from the 90s.
Yep.
Right. And we're
calling those
black and
Silverline
white
classics.
Yeah, it's black and white, so we're just kind of updating it.
Yep. And it will be just like Cray, and Becca's also coloring Marauder. It'll be just like those. These are classics that we're going to color the entire thing, and then we're going to make them available in trades. Once we kickstart the trades, the idea then is to take them to comic shops individually, and then as a trade as well. But that's down the road just a little bit. And so, Tommy, then what about you? I apologize, y'all. I meant to do that a little bit earlier. What was that? Did that say champ?
What? What?
All right, so Tommy, what you got?
This is a pinup that I got from Mr.
Sweet.
Jenna. I haven't colored any on it, but I was going to show you kind of how I've been coloring in Photoshop really since version 2.1, way back in the day.
So like from since 91.
Yeah, but since I got my iPad, or since I started using Manga Studio, but now it's called Clip Studios or whatever it's called.
Who did the artwork for that? That's nice. John, is that you? That's what you rigged that up, didn't you?
That was my surprise for you for tonight, that Tommy was so cool to jump in on. I have been holding on to that piece for years now. Jonathan Sukaraka-san, who was the penciler on the first 4 issues of Sniper and Rook, did the pencils for me on this. Gary Mitchell did digi-inks for me on it. He digi-inked that for me in 2009.
Wow.
So, yes, and so Jonathan did the pencils well before that. It is an amazing piece. So last week when we were talking about colorists, and Tommy said something about finding something, I'm like, I got something for you. I was hoping that you would really like it, Roland.
Yeah,
so
nice.
I'm going to color it, and I won't get much of it done today, but I'm just going to show you how I kind of set up.
What's the first things you do? Yeah.
Well, okay, so I just opened the file. So it's a TIFF to start off with, I believe, but it was
and you're using what? What software?
This is in Clip Studios on the iPad. So I just opened it up.
So we've had Clip Studio, Procreate, and Photoshop.
Yeah. So you can kind of see over towards the right-hand side of the screen, you got the layer. So it's just one layer to start off with now. So I just opened it. It's a 300 dot per inch file. And then in Clip, if you click, it's kind of what Becca did, but I've got it set up. It's like you said earlier in our program here, there's a million ways to do everything.
Yeah.
So
and that's okay.
Yeah. So she did it a way, but I'm going to do it a different way, but it's the exact same thing she did. So under File,
I'm going to do it differently, but exactly the same.
No, it's the same. She just has her set up a little different than what I do. But under Edit, there's a thing called, you can see halfway down. So you can't tell what I'm pointing at, but halfway down the screen, there's a thing that says Convert Brightness to Opacity. You click that, and then boom, it knocks out the white, and so it knocks out all of the background, the white background, and so if your line art is even got a little anti-aliasing to it, you can see I zoomed in on it, you can still see that it's still there. So it does a great job at knocking out the white, and it's just one click and you're done. So what I do after this point, I'm going to open up two more layers, and so one layer I'm going to stick underneath, and I'm going to select it. And whoops, I moved the wrong one. So I'm going to select it, and then I'm going to pick white, and I'm just going to fill it white so that way you can see that it's I can turn off the eyeball there so it's on and off. So you can see that the background it's still transparent even though I have white back there. And then you can, if we pick I was going to show you all this really cool flat thing that you can do in Clip. So I'm going to pick a color, maybe if it'll let me. So it doesn't matter what the color is. Let's just go with this color. So in Clip Studio, you can pick. So you see, I'm on that background color, the very farthest one down below. So I'm drawing below the line art. There's a feature down here on the right-hand side. I don't know if you guys can see it, but it says. Do not cross line reference. Actually, I have to turn on.
Yeah, I see it checked.
Yeah, I'm on this layer. So over on the right-hand side, I reselected the layer that's got the line art. There's a little, I don't know what the stupid thing is. It's a reference thing. It looks like a little lighthouse. So if you click the lighthouse on, which it's on now for that particular layer. So now when I come back to my color layer, when I have these two options selected, it says do not cross the line reference. Whenever I color now, this is when I'm doing my flats. You can see, let's get something big. You can see the brush is in there. It just stops at the line. So I can just go whoop, 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 and fill in whatever I need to fill in just really fast. So it's a really quick way to do your flats without. Now, this is a huge brush that I've got going on. You can see over here to the side. You see how big the brush is? I know. So let's make the brush 400 dots. You can see this is a huge brush, right? But as long as this is just a quick way that you can, and you see it doesn't go past.
Do you have any problems with the anti-aliasing when you do it like
look,
that?
You see it goes up underneath the line. See, on the second line, over on the left-hand side where it says area scaling, you can change how far you want it to go underneath the layer that it's referencing.
Do you want to tell our audience exactly what anti-aliasing is?
Anti-aliasing is this little grayness that you can see in the art there. You see where you got the solid black and the solid white, and then you see that little bit of pixel where there's a gray going to it. It kind of softens the line up. And when you're printing, it makes the biggest difference of the world not to get that stair stepping that you can get. If it's just straight black and white, you can kind of see where it's all jaggy line. But if there's a little bit of anti-aliasing going on, it really softens the line and it makes it not so jaggy. Now, if you printed something at a super high dot per inch, then you're not going to see that anyway. But most of the time we don't. We usually go about 300 dots per inch when we're setting these files up.
And sometimes when you use a lasso tool, it won't quite get underneath all of those gray lines, and you'll get a little bit of separation between the black line and the color art. And you can actually see it if you look real close.
So there's two things that I think we kind of got to mention here real quick. First one is for those who are wondering if you're doing a lot of your stuff digitally, you have to remember that if you're going to print your work, you need to make sure you're doing your work at least 300 DPI. It stands for 300 dots per inch.
You really need to set once you start going digital, you really need to start thinking about where the project is going to go. You know, what you're going to do with it in the end. If you're just doing it for the, you know, if you're doing, you're just doing a web comic, you know, you can do 72 dots an inch or 100 dots an inch, and that's fine. But if you're going to go printed, you've got to go a little bit higher resolution.
If you're talking to me and you're telling me about your webcomic, I'm still going to tell you to do 300 dots per inch, because you may say, I'm only going to do my webcomic here. But then a year and a half later, you've done your webcomic this whole time. And you're like, you know what? It'd be really cool if I actually printed all of my webcomics into a trade. And then you're going to go, oh, well, they're all 72 dots per inch. And you're going to be very frustrated because it's not really set up for print. So that's why I would always encourage, you know, the 300 dots per inch. You could always downsize it for the internet. The other thing I want to, before we jump over to Becca and find out how she kind of gets into these characters, is one of the things that sometimes can happen if you just color the blank spaces and you don't do anything under the blacks. Do you get a gray tone? And where there's no color? You know what I'm talking about at all? You've probably printed some of those, right?
Me?
Thomas, yeah.
Yes. You know, that was more of an old school kind of a thing when you were dealing with your traditional printing and everything. Pretty much now, when you, if this is getting really deep. You don't have to back up the blacks anymore. No. Well, no, because if you're using Kablam, we've got our system,
which we advocate.
We've got our print driver, you know, the thing that runs the server that runs the printer and stuff. It pretty much is going to we've got it set to back the blacks up for you. But back in the day, you had to back the blacks up, because otherwise, you know, if you were to let me turn this off, for instance. So let me turn this little deal here off. So say
where you didn't have color, it would be very gray and washed out.
Well, it would be that, but you could see. So, like for instance, you see on his chest here. I'm just going to draw a line right through the middle of it, right? So you can see, you know, it looks black on the screen, right? But say I then colored over here, and let me reduce the tool size here. Let's just do this. All right, so there's a little spot here.
Right.
If I turn the line art off, you'll see that there's this big white spot in the middle, right? You would be able to see the way that the presses work, because it would do, you know, a black, a CMYK, right? It would do your black, yellow, your blue, and your in your red. This would be white, basically through there. So it would just do a black ink, and then you would have this brown going around it, and it would leave this white spot there. So you would actually be able to see the, where the color stopped compared to where the black line was. So that's why you had what we call back the blacks up. So basically you would then select the black and then drop a CMYK, of the black. I don't know if I'm explaining it well. Can you explain it better than I am?
Yeah, this is a problem we actually used to actually see a lot. As an editor, one of the things I had to do was examine the film, and that's something that when the film would come into my hands from the coloring department before I submitted it into the manufacturing, who sent it onto the printer, and we would actually look for those spots where they didn't back up the black, because when they got printed, it actually showed where the color was under the ink. It was kind of shiny. When the color was not under the ink, it left kind of a washed out, not a solid. I mean, it was solid black, but it was more of a grayish look.
Yeah, it's because the black wasn't, the black is black, but it's not super rich black. It's and so you need the other colors behind it to make it good and solid and rich, and then you would be able to see the other colors.
Right, you can see where the line was.
I've had so many books that that were printed, and you could look at that and you go, oh, I can't believe.
Listen, you can find those in the dollar boxes now.
Oh,
right?
yeah, all the time, all the time. But now with the digitally printed books, we've got settings in the machines that go ahead and fill that for you. So it's not really something that you need to worry about so much now. Yeah, I don't worry about it at all when I'm coloring my stuff that I'm printing anyway.
Right, but that is certainly the dots per inch, and that is something that I think everyone needs to be aware of as you go forward. Okay, so Becca, let's go back.
Can I show you one more quick thing while I got this open?
Yeah.
The other thing that you can do real quick is to do we did it in Photoshop, but you can do the line the color hole pretty easy too in Clip. So basically what you got to do is I'm turning off that little reference layer thing and picking that top one, the channels. I know you can't tell what I'm clicking, but
we can see them highlight. When you tell us where you're at, we can see as you click them.
So over on the right hand side, there's these two little squares that overlap. Once I've clicked that, now all my line art is color holes.
I just like watching Becca's face as you're revealing some of these.
And what's so cool about all that is that it works with everything. So whatever brush, if you wanted to do a gradient, whatever tool that you're using, it's basically a mask is what it is.
It's a clipping
Photoshop,
mask.
It's exactly what it is.
Yeah, it's in Procreate. It's a clipping mask. Exactly the same thing.
It's exactly the same thing, but it's because Clip Studio is kind of a.
And it doesn't affect where you've already colored, like the yellow there, right?
Nope. And look, you can zoom on it. You can see that where the anti-aliasing of the black line was. Let's see if we can find a spot where I didn't.
There's a little dot.
Like up here, for instance. You see where the black line is, it's got the gray around the side, and you've still got the yellow behind it. So if I'm just going to click inside there, you'll see that the line art, it just makes the whole line art turn. You get an anti-aliasing of the color of whatever color. You can pick whatever you want, and you can change it, and it'll go with blue for instance. See, you can do so any of your coloring techniques you wanted to do. You could just we could do the whole thing if you want. And it's not really messed up. I mean, if you turn it off, it just goes back to black again. So, or you can erase, because basically it's, if we turn off all the rest of it, I got to turn off the mask. You see, that's the mask. It's just it's a mask, but it automatically does it for you. It's pretty quick, and I know Procreate does it too. But it's just so cool that before you had to go through all these hoops, and you had to do the darken and the layer of this and that and the other thing in Photoshop and all this kind of stuff. And it's just boom, boom, boom. It's so quick to do it in here, and you can still use all your brushes. I do everything in Clip now, so it's I really like Clip. You can even do lettering. The lettering is so cool. Whenever we get to that point where we're going to show lettering stuff, it's so cool to do word balloon. The word balloons stick. you can put the letters in there and you just draw a circle, 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 and they all just combine and it's so cool.
Yeah. So we'll do lettering later.
Later.
All right. Becca,
So I'm
we're jumping back
gonna
to you.
close this out so we can, or kick me off. Kick me
just
off,
let
Becca.
her kick you off.
Kick me
I'm
off.
gonna, I'm gonna try.
Just go to share, and it'll tell you that.
No,
you're about to
I don't want to go.
Kick somebody
I don't want to
off.
go. Don't click. Don't. Do I have to do it?
Did I?
Not yet.
Did I do it?
There you go.
Ah!
Am I sharing?
Yep.
Yeah,
Aaron.
you're good.
Yep.
Okay.
All right.
I
So you've got your page there, and you've dropped in the initial color. What do you do from there?
Well, I like to block out everything first, just so it's easier. So I'll just like grab any color. Did I grab it? Yeah. And then I'll go to a different layer. I like using the studio ink brush and then just go over and kind of just outline everything. And I'll outline it into a group, and then I'll start breaking it up from there, going from bigger to smaller. With this comic, I already have color palettes for, but if I still haven't figured out a color palette yet, I like to get my flats done first, and then I can play with the color palette.
So what considerations do you have when you're building a color palette? What considerations do you take? What do you take into consideration as you build the palette?
Well, I usually go for mood. And storyline, depending on like what time of day it is, if it's inside, outside. I like to use lighting. I try to keep that in mind the entire time, as well as also keeping with the color guide of each character and how lighting is going to affect those colors when I go through it.
Now,
Does that make sense?
Yeah, it makes absolute sense. Now, as I watch you color here, part of what we're seeing makes me think of what Tommy and I were talking about a little bit about when you back up the blacks, because we can clearly see where your coloring is on the black, and it kind of where you don't have color. It leaves
Definitely in the old day, you would be able to see that outline of the color that you put in there.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, not now. I mean, you could print this now, and it would the blacks would go solid, so you don't have to worry about it so much now, unless you're going to a traditional, press where they do all the separations and they're actually making the plates and all that kind of stuff. A real, well, we're a real press, but we're a digital printer,
Right.
compared to the old the way
and the thing about it is we may have to, this is something that you and I and your partner have been talking about some, is that this is actually something that we may end up doing, because I like the idea personally, and maybe it's just me personally, I do like the idea that some of our once we finish some of these, we might be able to do some of these in hardcovers. And if we then have to use a non-digital printer, then we want to make sure that we have backed up the blacks appropriately, right?
Yeah, we'd have to talk to them and find out exactly how if we don't print it,
that was nice.
Yeah. There you go. You like that? Where you actually just dropped it in there? I didn't get my bell ring for the $5 you're supposed to send me.
Yeah, that was nice. Yeah. So go ahead.
Yeah, so I usually like group it up like that, and then I will select the area and then separate it. That was just like the way I was taught at school, was to go big and then go in smaller.
Yeah.
All right. So when you say going smaller, what exactly do you mean now?
So now I would like separate the two characters from each other. So
And do you start at the back and work towards the front?
I do.
That's what I do too.
Yeah.
So for somebody watching, when you say start at the back and work toward the front, what your that was nice. What your meaning is characters in the background?
Yeah.
Okay. And
characters in the background, or if there is a background, like I'll usually start with that first. But I definitely group it up. And if there's a panel with a lot of depth into it, I'll break it up by depth first.
Okay.
And then do it that way.
Cool.
That makes sense.
So
Yeah.
let's stick here for just a second, Becca, before we.
You're just building up the layers. Boom, boom,
Yeah.
boom, boom, boom. Yeah.
So as I'm looking at this, I'm thinking, you know, she's blue and he's a light blue, and the background is pink. And I know, so these are just placeholder colors for you, right?
Yeah, it's quicker for me just to pick any random color just to block out the things, and then I'll go in and fix the colors.
Okay.
Because trying to figure out, like, trying to go through like all these palettes and like make sure what's what. I want to get the flatting done as quick as possible, because then I can start doing the fun stuff like shading.
Okay.
Yeah, so most colors that I know, when they get somebody to do the flats, which is what Becca's doing here, is they don't want you to go ahead and they don't want you to pick the colors, because they don't want they want to color it themselves. They don't want to be influenced by the colors that you're throwing in there. So basically, you're just picking a random color and you're just breaking it apart, so it makes it easier to color layer. Now, when I do my own stuff, I'm guessing whenever, you know, I'm not sure if if she normally does it this way or not, but when I do my own stuff, yeah, I go ahead and I just, you know, I already kind of know what color I want to put where, so that's what I use. But most of the time they do it this way, where they just fill it with any color. So you'll get one of these that'll pop open and it'll be like a rainbow of stuff that none of it goes there. It's just it's all broken apart, so it makes it easier to color. So you can select it easier and start doing all your rendering and stuff.
Okay.
Yeah, like I do have for them in here. It's just all the way at the bottom. So like this girl,
Jake,
that's all like her colors that I have.
She's called Girl.
Yeah.
Girl 1, Girl 2, Girl 3.
I see Jake
like
there.
this,
Jake.
Yeah.
Jake is the male character from Fire Rush.
Yeah, so like here would be, I usually do like the skin color first and then work my way up from there. So like that's usually what my characters will start off as, the skin color, and then I'll start adding on the hair, the clothing, and separating it from that.
Cool. Now, how long do you guess, just a rough estimate? I know not every page is the same, because some pages have a lot of details and there are things that you have to work at. But on average, how long does it take you to flat a page?
Well, now it's going to take me so much faster.
She knows
because I was
the magic fill,
really going in and just going like
and filling it in by hand.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Yeah.
Yeah. So it was taking me a bit longer. I could get like in quarantine days, I can get like a good 2.5, 3 pages done, depending on how many panels.
Right. Okay.
Now I could probably get so much more done.
So are you suggesting that I need to pop more pages over into your folder?
I mean, you're more than welcome to. I usually break it down by panel. I don't know if you want me to show you one of the other pages.
Yeah, please do. And I was actually going to ask you about the layers there. You had talked about layers and want to kind of know what is your thought process?
So the layers, I break them up by panels.
Whoa,
to me,
look,
it's more organized. Yeah, I'm a bit anal.
Well, no, most colors, when you colorists, when you see that that's the way they do it. It's because I used Photoshop at the beginning and we had crappy computers because I'm old as could be. They I learned to just kind of color everything on one layer, and I would just magic wand it if I needed to work on a spot. But yeah, you're doing it the way that most people. How do you do it, Barb? Do you break it all up on different layers?
You can't do that with you can't just select a color.
No.
If you color them all on, you can't like break it up or I haven't figured that out. Like in Photoshop, I know you can like select
magic
the wand and then click a color and it just selects that color.
There is I forget. Barb, do you know how to select a color and procreate? There is some technique. I forget how to do it.
What, you mean touch your finger to the color? And
Not to color pick it, but to like magic wand an area.
Oh no, because I'm
And
still learning.
and Procreate, it doesn't work like that.
Yeah, it doesn't work like that.
Well, you can. There's a way to pick a color and mask out the background. I've seen people do it on YouTube. I don't know how they do it though.
It would be in the selection on the top abilities, and then you can do automatic selection.
Yeah.
But it still doesn't. If you have multiple colors, it will just select them as a mass.
I'm still
like
trying to
every
figure out
one
how,
that's on the whole page, kind of a thing.
On the layer, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm still trying to figure out how Becca has so many layers. I can't get that many layers in Procreate. Are you have 300 DPI or 400? Hello?
Oh, hold on. She disconnected. She's coming back
She
in.
disconnected. Well, you know, it probably depends on how much memory she has.
Oh, here she's back.
In your iPad.
It just shut me out. I'm so sorry about that.
I have a question for you, Becca. I'm amazed at how many layers you have in Procreate. I can't get that many layers, but then I usually work on 400 DPI. Are you working on 300 DPI?
Mm-hmm.
That's probably why I don't get as many layers as you do.
How much memory do you have? How much RAM do you have in
I have a fairly good amount.
Well, that all depends. That's
with Procreate, Tommy. It's
like that mustache,
all across
too.
the board with every model of the iPad. It's the same.
And the reason that I picked Procreate, for those of you out there that want to know, is because, for one thing, I came into this really late. I know nothing about digital art. I've always been an old school artist, inking right on the drawing board with pen and ink and brush. And when I wanted to learn digital art, I'm too old to learn, and my memory isn't great. So Photoshop just completely overwhelmed me. And Procreate is basically Photoshop for dummies.
They got rid of all of the craziness.
Oh yeah, I mean it's easy to work with, and it's a one-time purchase of $9.95. I mean, how can you beat that? You know, so for me, it was a perfect choice.
Becca, go back to Sharon and show your layers there.
Me?
Yeah, if you don't mind.
Jeremy, do you do
Did you just
a
point
bunch
to
of
your
layers
nose?
when you do your stuff, or
You point to your nose?
Not really. I basically have a layer just for the flats. Then I copy that
Do you
layer.
have Asian in your family?
No, everyone always asks me that. I'm Irish.
Because that's what Asians do when they say me, they point to their nose instead of we point to our chest, but Asians point to their nose.
I mean, I grew up in a very Asian town.
Okay, well that makes sense.
Yeah.
It's funny you just said me and pointed to your nose. I'm like, wait a minute, what? When I first started, long story short, when I first started teaching at university, I taught ESL for about 3 years, and one of the biggest people groups that I taught was Japanese. And so, so I absolutely love the Japanese and the culture and everything. And my wife and I, we watch lots of, we haven't seen any in a while, but we used to watch a lot of Japanese movies, not anime, but a lot of just movies, old black and white movies. Zatochi's one of my favorites. But yeah, I would often see then when I would ask them a question, they would me, and they'd point to their nose. And I'm like, no, don't point to your nose. That's your nose. This is you. Right. Sorry. I saw you do that. So explain to us just for a minute how you have all these layers and what's involved in each of the layers.
Okay, so I usually break it out by panels. So if you go to like panel 1, I'll start with the background, and then I will just make my way up and like start breaking out, separating things. And then once I get to like characters and stuff, like this is this layer right here that I'm pointing to, this is just all in here. So I usually group that up together. Do this. So I usually like combine down and then combine down.
Oh, okay.
That way I have things more organized. So when I go back, or if I want to change a color, I know exactly where it is, and I can just rename it as security guard, whatever.
Right.
Yeah. And that way we find it
detailed. I have a lot fewer layers.
There's a lot of layers
really
there,
detailed.
and which and I have seen other artists do the same thing.
Yeah, me too.
but I just wanted to let's figure out what Becca's thought process is about all this. And so I actually find it interesting that you have each of them in each panel in a separate layer,
Grouped.
right?
Yeah, they're grouped.
And then within each of those layers, you have essentially sub layers. Is that right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then they go to sub layers.
Good grief.
Yes.
So is it difficult to create as you're doing this? Is it difficult to? How hard is it to create another layer?
Oh, it's right here.
Say plus.
Oh, that's easy. Okay.
Yeah, and then you just delete it if you want.
Oh, wow.
And you can also say, let me click on something. Let's say this. You can click on this, and then you can like change all aspects of what's on that layer.
That is cool.
Yep, color
Yeah,
burn.
and then
you
you
can,
can-
yeah.
Wow.
Which is fun.
Yeah, I did something like that on the previous page. I laid a red screen over the entire page because I wanted it to pop the red.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very cool.
I do that. Yeah, I do that too. Like that's why I always make sure that the full panel is selected
right
somewhere in the background. That way I can. Sorry, I'm looking for that. Like the whole background selected here, so I can select this, and I will like bring it up to the top and say if I want like this and a screen, and then I'll just kind of I forgot I can do that. There you go.
Wow.
So I can give that a yeah. So that's
So
why I
cool.
always keep the background or at least the full body of a character selected in a color. That way, if I do want to put some sort of mood on them or like push them back to give it more depth or push them forward, it's easier to do that when they're all selected.
Very cool. That is very cool. BJ, you watching some of this? I hope. she's been playing around with some colors and I've seen her doing kind of what you were talking about, Becca, just taking and just kind of like she had a crayon in her hand, just coloring and coloring and coloring. And
Yes, I am watching.
And I tried to tell her once before. I said, "There's a bucket somehow. There's a paint bucket where you can just drop it in there."
I'm still new to Procreate. Like I know Clip Studio, I know Photoshop, I know Illustrator, and I've used all of those. And I only got this a couple months ago, so I probably played with this like a couple times before I started working on For a Rush. So
there's a ton of Procreate tutorials on YouTube. I love them. I use them all the time.
And
I'm still learning
brushes.
too.
Like I went bonanza with brushes. So
Yeah, me too.
and they're so great. And that's one of the reasons why I love this is the brushes that I have.
And there's a lot of free brushes out there too.
And this is just like a new tutorial.
Yeah.
Alex, what are you drawing there? What are you thumbnailing?
Do you want me to stop sharing my screen?
This is a sketch cover I'm doing.
Oh, okay. All right. Sketch cover. Oh, sweet. I recognize that cover.
It's not a cat and mouse, but
well, that's okay. But you're going to do it on the cat and mouse cover, right?
Correct. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Somebody asked for some silly Marvel character to be on there.
No, it's I'm not sure where they're from. It's Zen, the Intergalactic Ninja.
Oh, Zen the Intergalactic. Yeah, I know Zen. Actually, some of Paul Pelletier's first work was on Zen the Intergalactic Ninja.
But yeah, that's what that's gonna be.
So, did the creator ask you to do this, or just a fan?
Just someone I know.
Okay, yeah. Tommy, you know the guy who created that, don't you? I can't think of his name right. Zen the Intergalactic Ninja.
Yes. Then while you were saying it, I'm trying to.
I can't think of his name right off the top of my head, but yeah, I know the guy. But yeah, Paul Pelletier. Some of Paul's first work was with
I
Zen.
didn't realize that. No.
Yeah. Yep. I'm not sure if it was before or after. I think it might have been. I don't know if it was before or after Demon's Tales. I don't recall. Well, thank you, Becca. So, Jeremy, what about you? Let's come back to you here.
I want to show something a little interesting for people who have trouble creating color palettes. Basically, in Photoshop, Yeah, I'll show you this. Basically, Prey is one of these it's like a Conan Barbarian type of setting, fantasy sources magic. So for the color palette, I'm going to do something similar style to that color-wise. So what I've done is I've grabbed some Conan covers and pages.
Classics there.
And what I can do actually is I can then go ahead to mode, change it to index. Once it goes to index color, you go to color table. What this does is creates an entire color palette based on that one image I have on the screen now. So this is basically a color sampling of this entire Conan page.
That's pretty cool.
Then you can then go ahead and save that as a color swatch, which you can load into Photoshop. And if you want to get a little more invested in this, you can create multiple color swatches at once. Like I took this page and this page, got two color swatches. We're gonna line up side by side here after taking them, and then go ahead and create one more color swatch. So now I have a color swatch based on the two pages. And then basically go back to Cray, the coloring page I'm doing. I replace the swatches with the one I just created. And this here is now everything, this is basically all the coloring samples from that Conan page.
That's pretty cool. One of the things I would like to do, I remember some of the palettes and seeing you and Becca talk about those. One of the things that I'd like to do is Malibu used to have color palettes that they would build, and part of the reason they built them is that not everyone's monitor shows colors the same way. So you could look at the exact same page that I'm looking at, and our monitors would show them a little different, just simply because the monitors are what's the word, Tommy?
They're not calibrated.
Calibrated, that's it. They're not calibrated correctly, and so Malibu created these color palettes so that anyone who went to color, say, Nightman, they would always get the exact same color from the palette.
His skin tone is this.
Skin tones, his costume. And it might look a little different from screen to screen, but when it got printed, all of the colors would match because they were using a palette. Something I would like to do for the Silverline titles is to create some kind of color palette, so that if someone says, "Hey, I want to do a guest cover for you," we don't get something back with really wonky colors. I'm like, well, no, they're supposed to be blue, but you colored it purple, and if we could give some kind of palette, some kind of, Alex gives that a thumbs up. Yeah. So Alex, I may put you on that. I may put you on some palettes here. But yeah, I think that would be thumbs down. But I think that would be handy for us to use. That way, as we do, more titles and get, more hands kind of playing around in here, we make sure that we keep our colors consistent. I'm looking at my clock and it says 10:54. We've been going on a long time. I think this has been very informative. You guys, you colorists, anything else that you can add that that I haven't asked because I'm not a colorist and I didn't? You're like, well, Roland, you didn't ask this. Say it now, because if there's something that somebody else is out there thinking, well, I really wish they had talked about this. You guys got anything else that you can think of that I didn't ask you?
Is there any questions from our viewers?
Well, I'm going on what you were saying before about knowing how you want the thing to be shown, about web or print. It's a good idea to at least start in CYMK for your color mode, because unless you specifically want to go straight to web and that's going to be it, it's best to stay in CYMK while you're starting the coloring.
So you would suggest color in CMYK?
Yes.
If you're going to go to print?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Yeah.
And being a printer, I would say do it in RGB, because the print drivers are so. I mean, back in the day that was pretty much true, but now the print drivers are so good. You'll get better color representation if you do it in RGB and let the printer convert the color to CMYK. It does print in CMYK, of course, because it has to, but you'll get a bigger color gamut if you do it the other way.
So, Tommy, is this just digital, or should we elect to use traditional printing as well?
I'm telling with for every digital machine that I know, I think the print server, the device that actually rips the files, that does a better job at converting the files to are a bigger gamut, meaning that you get a bigger color representation that you can if you go with just the CMYK, because RGB, of course, is a light color, not a light color. That doesn't make sense. It's color based off of light, right?
Right.
When CMYK is a color based off of printing, is based off of inks. So you get a much bigger color gamut. But any way you go is and the files are smaller too if you go with RGB, because it's one less channel they have to deal with.
Well, here, if I'm still sharing, is a good way to tell from that. Yeah, under view, you can actually see the gamut. You do the gamut warning. Yeah, it's showing up. Here we go. So I start coloring here.
Warning though.
Yeah, I'll show in a second here. So I had to see everyone green here. So I start coloring. And I see here, view gamut. Sure. And it's not working now, of course. It's supposed to gray out all the areas that would not actually.
Oh, okay.
But then on your little color swatch thing of you're pointing at it now. That tells you what that color might turn into. Yeah, if you printed it. But
okay, add a gamut for printing. Okay.
Yeah.
I have seen that pop up before at images that I've looked at.
Shoot, I'm not sure why that's not working now. Oh well.
We lost somebody. Oh, John.
Half of the listeners probably went, I don't know what you're talking about, color gamut. I don't want to talk about it.
Everybody's going to develop their own style. I mean, some colorists really like vivid color palettes. I personally prefer a very subtle, a light color palette. I'll throw in some vivid colors for effect, but overall, I keep my colors pretty subtle. Everybody just develops their own likes and dislikes in style when they're coloring.
And I'm very much I love colors from like the late 1980s when we were getting a little bit of rendering. I think early middle 90s. Overall, and I'm not saying all of them, but overall, colorists began to discover, wow, look what I can do with the computer.
The super airbrushed look.
Everything was over rendered. And I even look at a lot of Marvel and DCs that are published today. Don't read them, but I look at them and I just think they're so over rendered. And I'm like, no.
It's not a photo, right?
Simplify it a little bit.
Yeah. I'm very simplified. I have my midtones, my darks, and my highlights basically, and I fill in a little bit here and there. But those are my three majors.
And I'm not suggesting that those colorists aren't any good. I'm just saying that I personally don't like that style. I don't find it attractive to my eye is not drawn to it at all. Maybe if I was going to put a painting on the wall, but I'm reading a comic book and I want it to look comic booky, not like a painting on the wall. So that's kind of my, and this is part of, Barb, this is part of partly why I wanted, several of you guys, so that we can see here's one way to do it, here's another way to do it, here's another way to do it, and one of them
no way is wrong,
right? As long as you're getting the end result of getting your colors the way you want them, there's not one wrong way or the right way.
Well, yeah, I'm completely self-taught, so I've just figured out how I like to do it on my own.
Yeah. As long as it's by your editor's desk by 11:59 Sunday night, that's the right way to do it.
That's right.
And the colors,
that's absolutely
colors match the mood of the book.
Yeah.
Like when I do this, the Kid Hero stuff, I like, super bright, screamy colors, but that wouldn't work in a Batman kind of a book. Those colors, yeah. So
right. And Alex will probably shoot me if I don't mention that we are looking for somebody to pencil a new champion.
Another cool thing about Procreate is that another cool thing about Procreate is that say I need to color cat and mouse and I need their color palettes. So I would just scan in a few pages of cat and mouse and I'm able to touch them on Procreate and get the exact color that I'm going to copy from the previous colorist.
Well, here's my question to that though. If we have a palette already, would it be if you just say, hey, I'm going to do cat and mouse, would this be something I could say, here, Barb, here's the palette?
Yeah, give me a color swatch.
Yeah.
Swatch.
Yeah.
Swatch.
Here-
Okay. Yeah.
Here's the biggest thing from when we started using Photoshop way back in the day that this is going on with the palette thing or scanning this stuff in. Back when we were learning to use Photoshop to do the coloring, and this is back in the late 90s, I guess it was. Nobody would tell you how to do anything. So getting a good palette that colors that would print well was a secret. And then all of a sudden, you started seeing people posting their stuff on the web. And my Kablam business partner, Barry, we were like, they wouldn't tell us anything, but you could go, I could just take your picture and then sample it with the eyedropper. And I've got your colors, so that when they wouldn't tell you what their colors were, just right off, the CMYK color. But, so that was, so all this, anything that you see online, as far as colors go, and you like that color, you think that's a really nice blue, you just go sample it.
Grab it.
I have dozens. I have dozens of comic book pages that I thought, ooh, I like that color combination.
Yeah.
Download it, put it in my color reference.
I do it all the time when we see stuff coming off the presses at Kablam, and I go, that is such a really cool blue. I didn't know that machine could do that. And then I'm like, so I open it up and their file. Oh, don't tell anybody. And sample that blue. And I'm going to use that blue because I didn't know the machine could make such a rich blue. And
Barb did a really nice job with this Divinity cover. I'm trying to get to quickly as I'm talking and typing. That I'll look at it, and of course, our artwork is fantastic as well.
Another fun thing you can do is if you want to get something similar to what you're working with, get a sample of the page, or let's say you have a good idea in mind. Okay, like a fancy saying, whatever. You take that, do the Google reverse image search, pull up all the other color palettes that are similar to that. Then you just download that palette, those palettes you just looked up, and then use those.
Can you all see that
on this
there?
cover here? I actually did Divinity in the background in watercolor. That was a watercolor brush I did her in, and then the rest of it was the airbrush.
Neat.
Now hold on, let's time out for those who are not colorists. When you say watercolor, you do not mean that you actually dipped a brush in water. You mean a watercolor brush using
Digital.
Procreate, right?
Yep.
Digital.
I did her in a watercolor brush in Procreate in all blues, and the rest of it was in well, except for the background. The other figures were done with airbrush brushes.
Yeah. Very, very, very nice cover, by the way. And that's my sneaky way of also showing Divinity that's coming up here, right? In what'd you say, 2.5 weeks?
Yep, 2.5 weeks.
So okay. So anything else, guys?
There's also a lot of websites that you can go through. Like if you need to figure out, sometimes when you're trying to color a panel or two, and you're just like, I can't figure out what goes with this color, a background. There's a bunch of websites I don't remember right offhand. Whenever I get stumped, I just go and start searching for them. But you can punch in your colors and you say, tell me about 15 colors that I wouldn't pick that would match, that would be complementary with this, and then it'll give you the weirdest colors, and then you start using them and you go like, well, I would have never come up with those colors, but they look really good. It's just sometimes your brain doesn't work right and you need some outside
Google
influence.
what goes with teal.
Yeah, there you go. And then
I do have something that helped very. Someone showed me this one website on Adobe. Basically, I can share the screen for that, and I'll show you. It helps a lot when trying to pick up complementary colors and everything. Here.
So what were you saying, Becca?
There's this thing where people take stills from movies and they'll show the movie color palette. So a lot of times, like I'll just look up movie stills and find a mood of a movie that I kind of want to go with the page I'm working on. And I'll just still colors from that.
Oh, that's kind of
brilliant
cool.
idea.
Yeah, that's
brilliant.
great.
So
this is. Oh, that's cool.
Basically,
the color wheel there.
You can choose the type ones you want to look up.
And it gives you a bunch of complementary and it's are they the opposite of the color? Yeah.
Procreate's got that too.
I was gonna say now, Jeremy, you're looking at color.adobe.com. Is that can anyone get there, or is that you have to have a subscription?
Nope, it's free for anyone to look up.
Okay, cool.
In
Very cool.
Procreate, it's called Harmony. It'll give you
Yeah.
the little Harmony app.
But
So I can't quite read Alex's note there. Can you know that says colorist?
Colorist, it's on you can download it for Photoshop.
Oh, okay.
That's
All right,
the
cool.
Do we have any questions from our viewers?
No
Roland.
questions. Yeah, I've asked about that. So,
And also, if you want to learn coloring, one of the best ones out there is the Hi-Fi coloring book.
Yes.
cool.
Oh,
You know, I like to say there's no questions because you
That
guys
one?
have been so thorough. Ha! You got the book.
Yeah, I do.
Yeah. Yeah, I actually Wes Loker, who does some Silverline editing for us, and who is a dandy writer and an editor, gifted me the Comic Craft. This goes back like 7-8 years now, 7 years, 6 years. Gifted me the Comic Craft book on lettering, and I used that heavily when I was teaching myself to letter. So it's almost like a lettering for dummies. And I did that. So, all right. Well, if you guys are good, we'll move on here. So the topic for next week, we touched about it a little bit at the top of the hour at the beginning of the show. But next week we're just going to have a general chat. We're not going to go through a craft. So hopefully I'll see all of you back, and we'll figure out what we're going to talk about. And then also we've got a merch store. Silverline has a merch store. Silverline CEO BJ has been hard at work creating a merch store. We still there's just some basic items in there, but because we're in the COVID world, you can go get a mask that has some Silverline stuff on it.
Nice.
Some Silverline t-shirts you can find on there. Not this one, but you can get some Silverline t-shirts. And we're going to be adding, I say me like I'm doing it. BJ is going to be adding lots of more stuff with the help of all the folks here. So that is at zazzle.com/store/Silverline Comics. And we'll make sure we'll put the links in all the appropriate places. Everyone who is watching, whether you're watching it live now or whether you're watching on the replay, please remember to like and share and subscribe. We need all those likes. We need you to share the pages out, and we need you to subscribe so that we can get those up. One of the things that we need on YouTube is we need to get to 100 subscribers so that we can actually name our channel. So right now it's YouTube/XYZQ32BX whatever. I don't know what it is. But once we get to 100 subscribers,
That's the way I remember it.
We'll be able to actually name it. And so I'm looking forward to doing that. And so we'll go around asking where we can find you online. So Jeremy, where can everybody find you online?
Yes, I'm at Jeremy M. Con. Wait, Jeremy Con? I forgot my social. I forgot my
your own name.
I forgot the social media tags I use. 1 second here.
He's having to look up his own social media.
I do. Yeah, okay, that was Jeremy M. Con on Twitter, and then I'm sorry, I have like 3 other ones. I'm trying to.
Jeremy, I will say this. I will add this. I've got your back. Okay. You sent me your stuff, so I'll make sure that I put it in the info down there.
And then the other one is AP Joy Paint for my YouTube account.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. And everything else I can't remember at the moment. So
excellent. Tim, what about you? Where can everyone find COVID Tim?
You can find me all over the internet and on the longboard trails in Oregon. Facebook, Instagram, Twitter at Tim TK Rider, TikTok at Tim Doesn't TikTok, Twitch at AgroBacon. I'll be live later tonight with Smite, League of Legends, Total War or something. And
Total War. What Total War do you play?
I own all Total Wars ever made since the original. I was at Rome 1 back in
I am a huge fan of Empire and Napoleon.
Napoleon's great. Napoleon prizes my second most hours in it to Shogun 2.
Shogun 2. Yeah, I play a lot of Shogun 2. I like Shogun 2 because of the multiplayer aspect of it.
Absolutely, yeah. We just started a series where we're playing through the Peloponnesian War and Total War Rome 2 with another writer dude.
Nice.
Yeah. So
now, do you have a haircut there?
I also lost my hair. But you can also find me on the Silverline website in our craft series going up once a month.
That's right. Doing a fantastic job with that. And I appreciate you very much for doing that. Tommy, what about you? Where can everyone find you on the interwebs?
My personal website is infernostudios.com, and you can find all my stuff from there. But just look for Thomas Florimonte, and of course, I got to spell it Florimonte. And you just and all the different social things, it's there. And then I've got my new TikTok thing. It's called Not TikTok Tommy. So
no way, you did not do that.
It's official. Not TikTok Tommy. I do some dancing. I do makeup reviews. I don't do any of that stuff. But that's what it's called anyway.
There you go.
So
I'm determined. I'm going to do little makeup.
You need
stuff.
one. You need one. I wanted to do TikTok Tommy, but it was already taken.
Somebody already took it. Yeah.
My TikTok is all weightlifting and longboarding videos, so I figured that's my brand.
Yeah. So Tommy, you got to make sure you send me that so that I can add it to the.
Okay, I need to put something up there.
Yeah. Becca, what about you? Where can people find you on the social medias?
Well, I have a Behance. It's just my name, Rebecca Winslow, and
whoa! Stop! What's a Behance?
A Behance? It's
an art site.
Online portfolio.
Oh, okay, cool. Yeah. Very cool.
So I have that, and I have an Instagram, which is comic with the K's _art.
Very cool. So I don't know if you've sent those to me yet or not. If you haven't, zap them to me in a Facebook message, and I'll make sure that I get them added. Okay.
And she's also got not TikTok Becca also.
Not TikTok Becca.
Yeah. It's trending. Twitter.
Do you have a TikTok, Becca?
I don't. Okay. That's about it.
Okay. I found out Hedgeland has a TikTok. What's him?
Tommy, is that you with no videos, no followers, and a no profile picture yet?
Well, you can follow me now.
There we go.
I have one person.
We're followed.
All right. I got to do a video. I got to do that thing. What's the thing where you do this?
Yeah, there you go. That's our goal for that's our stretch goal for the next week. Get Tommy to 100 followers on TikTok.
Oh yeah. Oh look, I just saw myself on TV. Don't make me do that again.
My my daughter. BJ, you going to send Brittany a message? See if we can grab her on here at the last at the end here.
She's waiting to come on as soon as.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, she TikToks and she keeps sending me these TikToks, and I just don't find any of them funny. And she's like, I know you'll find this one funny. And I'm like, it's just somebody dancing to this old tune. What's so funny about that? Now, she did send me a baby one that was funny.
There's TikTok has a really weird for you formula. So depending on your demographics, you're going to get a very different page. So Brittany's is probably California mid-20s young female. So maybe not the same demographic. I have old guy TikTok, so my demographic is very much scaled towards me.
So hold on now. So here's the thing. I go look at the videos that she sends me, and then TikTok recommends all these videos, and it's all of young girls dancing. So what are you telling me?
We know what you're doing.
Saying you got to make a TikTok and like more videos that's just old guy stuff, and then you'll get real recommendations. Yeah.
All right. Barb, what about you? Where can everyone find you on the social medias?
Well, I've got a Twitter account. It's Barbara Kjellberg at BJKLBRG. I'm on Facebook. And like I say, every time I'm on here, I'm the only Barbara Kjellberg on the web. So if you Google Barbara Kjellberg, KAALBERG, you're going to find me all over the place. So there's a lot of Google sites.
Excellent.
Interviews, whatever. There's 30 years worth of crap out there. So...
Alex, you want to come on and tell? I see you've written it all down there. I'm not sure if I can read all of that unless you can make the screen.
I full screened it for the stream there.
Yeah.
Okay. So and he has no TikTok, and he's giving us a thumbs up. Now he's just covered up it all. So no TikTok. We're not going to see Alex and Skylar dancing, I guess, huh?
I'm glad he uses his sticky notes of thumbs.
Yeah, he started that the couple weeks back, and we just all thought it was
still
a hoot,
muted
so.
too. He hasn't unmuted
Yeah,
himself.
he had. Yeah, see, there's a thumbs up again. It's probably the same thumb he's been using right? for 3 weeks now. Okay, so BJ, do you want to say anything to anyone? Say goodbye or whatever?
I will. It's been fun. I've learned a lot myself, so it's been really interesting.
All right. Well, all right. Well, good night, everyone. Next week we'll join you for a bunch of chatting. Come hang out with us, and we'll talk comics and other geeky stuff. Good night, everybody.
Good
night.
Bye.